Oye, mi gente, it's Ish. You know from listening to us, we love the gym, but there's no reason to spend lots of money every month just to stay healthy. That's where YouFit comes in. You've heard me say it many times. I freaking love YouFit. It's got state-of-the-art equipment, and you're not on top of one another, which is a must in this day of social distancing. And memberships start at just $10 a month. Why pay more? It's not like paying more instantly gives you muscles or anything. Plus, many locations have group fitness classes and affordable personal training to further help you achieve your goals. I mean, you're unique. Shouldn't your workouts be also? Así que what are you waiting for? Find your fit at youfit.com to find a club nearest you. After all, only you can be your own fitness hero.
Hey people, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 4 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Hey everyone. Welcome to Pero Let Me Tell You,
Pero Friday.
episode
170. I'm going to go with 74.
174. So, we usually start our episodes with a cold open, but there's just really no way of going around it. This week, our shows, as all our followers know, usually premiere on Fridays.
Just 173, sorry.
173 usually premiere on Friday. So welcome to episode 173. Our shows usually premiere on Fridays. So if you're listening on Friday, it's September 10th. And tomorrow, September 11th, is 20 years since the tragic terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Pennsylvania, the plane that fell. So we just want to start off with a moment of silence to all of those we lost that day and, in our country. So thank you for that. It's we're gonna have a regular show, and we're gonna
Be ourselves.
Have some more fun conversation in a minute. But I mean, I think that
20 years.
It's hard not to not talk about this, and we should talk about it. In terms of 9/11, that it's been 20 years.
That's crazy.
I always start when I think of 9/11. I say this. How do you think your life has changed since 9/11?
Well, I think there's the obvious, which, again, 20 years on, there are people who don't remember a time that we didn't, like take our shoes off to go through TSA.
Well, there wasn't TSA.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. There was a time where, and I remember this, you would basically get to the airport and you would go through the little baggage, the security checkpoint. But even if you were not boarding the flight, you could accompany your family, right up to the gate. Mm-hmm. There were times where actually my dad used to, when he was working for the phone company, was working at the airport sometimes. And me and my mom and my sister would just go and meet him there. We would go take the tram to go to the Burger King at the airport, and that was just normal, But I think even just other things that, we've probably just become more hyper vigilant.
Well, I think that now, anytime you're anywhere public,
right,
and you hear a noise or a bang, people lose their shit.
Or you see a bag by itself.
Right. You start to question and panic, and which that wasn't the case before. I mean, obviously we're talking about post 9/11 ramifications.
Right.
But yeah, I remember, prior to that, the worst, your biggest fear when getting on an airplane, obviously, other than, the airplane malfunctioning, would be a hijacking.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that was what you feared because that's what you had seen.
Right. I mean, a 9/11 was...
It was a hijacking.
It was a
hijacking, yeah.
But never did you think that the plane was going to go in a building.
Right. It's going to be used as
that was
a
going to
weapon.
be used as a weapon to a building. That's something that was unfathomable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I and you've seen this. I have in my office, I have a poster of the Twin Towers draped with the American flag. It's a poster that came
very
out
iconic.
Yeah, that came out not too long after 9/11, and that image really spoke to me. And it says "United We Stand," and I bought that poster maybe a few months after 9/11.
20 years ago.
Yeah. And I've always had it either in my home or in my office because I want to think of 9/11 every single day. I don't want to not think about it because I think that we need to be reminded on how vulnerable we were, how vulnerable we could be, how we could lose everything in 1 second, and how we had a very, and we did. We had a sense of security that that doesn't happen in the United States.
That's not a first world thing.
That happens in other places, but that doesn't happen here. And I want to remember every day that all those people that died that day were regular people who were going to work like you and I. And I just. It's images that if you lived through it, and you saw it on TV, you just will never forget like the apprehension you had throughout the day. When you first heard of the plane, the plane that hit the first tower, and then everybody was like kind of freaking out over that. Like
because at first you thought it was an accident.
Had gone wrong, but then 20 minutes later. A second one hit. So now immediately it was like a switch. It's like, okay, we're being attacked. Yeah. And I remember the moments of panic where you didn't know where the fourth plane was. Because all this started happening within like an hour. The second plane hits the Pentagon.
It was all time.
The Pentagon got hit, and then this other plane was missing.
Right.
And I remember that sense of panic because you didn't know where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And it was just I think that people need to remember what happened that day. And I think that right now we live in a society that we're so caught up in not only our daily lives, but now because of social media, as we talk about all the time on the show, people are so caught up in their agendas and moving forward and pushing their narrative on whatever that they sort of forget this commonality that we had on that day. Yeah. And how
we really did come together as a country.
We did.
Unfortunately, because it took that.
We did. But what I'm trying to say is that despite whatever differences we have, to the enemy, we are all the same.
That's true. They don't care if you're a blue state, red state, gay, straight.
They don't care. They
Christian,
don't care.
Jew. Yeah.
We are all the enemy. We're Americans. We're the United States. And that day, you quickly saw on how this type of hatred and this type of attack didn't care. And it's
all our infighting was for nothing. I mean, really.
Right. Yeah. And I think that people need to remember that because again, we get so caught up on arguing about everything and being an expert about everything and you're right and I'm right and you're wrong and you don't know what you're talking, that we lose track a lot of times on these matters. And I think that we need to remember that we were very vulnerable then, and we could still be very vulnerable because security, the United States, like many other countries, spend now, I don't know how much portion of our budget on security, and we need to, but, these terrorists start getting more and more sophisticated.
Yeah. It's like everything, yeah.
It's just a situation where that I really, each generation or every X amount of years, things happen that define our country, define our society.
Like a Pearl Harbor.
And for me, and just like I'm sure with millions of other Americans and people around the world, there was my life before 9/11 and my life after 9/11. I mean, do you remember in 1995 when the Oklahoma City bombing happened, how in shock we were? Because those type of things did not happen here.
Right.
Let alone that was... the guy was American, but even aside from who did it,
but that act
that does not happen in the United States. That there's other things that happen that are terrible, but that does not happen. You don't go to work to a building and think that building is going to be blown up. Like that's not something that happens here. That happens other places, but not here. And it did. And here we are 20 years later, and there's countless of families of people who are shaped like this from this forever. People that lost husbands, wives, children. It's just terrible. But I wish I could say that I guess the thing is that in terms of ending this segment,
transitioning.
I wish I could say that we were in a better place, but right now I don't know. I think that we don't learn.
Yeah, to your point, United we stand. I don't know how accurate that statement necessarily is right now.
Yeah. So. Okay, so we are transitioning out of 9/11.
Because there is no graceful way to transition over to another topic of conversation.
Okay, so let's talk about a fun topic. Here on Pero Let Me Tell You, episode 173. There we go. Dancing with the Stars, season 30.
Okay. I'm going to start this off by saying that for season 31, we better get an invitation.
Okay, so okay, I'm happy
because
with
if there is now as a contestant, basically a guy who is a Peloton instructor. If we
Cody. Okay, so here I am.
But he's a Peloton instructor.
Okay, but I'm on the Wikipedia page for
him,
right, for season 30.
Okay,
and all the celebrities have links to their name except him.
Right, that's my point. Like, listen, if we're at the point where, like, I won't,
so
one time they had YouTubers, now they have Peloton instructors.
Jimmy Allen, country singer.
Okay.
Christy Chu from Bling Empire. Brian Austin Green.
Okay.
It's Brian Austin Green. Melora Hardin.
Okay, she's an actress, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Olivia Jade in a minute.
Yes.
Social media personality. Matt James from The Bachelor. There's always a Bachelor.
There's always that, yeah.
Amanda Klutz, who was from
yes.
Talk. Martin Cove, who is an actor. Suni Lee, who was just in the Olympics. Mike The Miz.
I think The Miz could be fun.
I like Mike. Kenya Moore from The Housewives.
There's always a housewife.
Iman Schubert. From the NBA. Duh. Like I read the name without.
I could see your face just blanking over as you were reading it.
Yeah. Jojo Siwa, which we'll touch base.
Which we know we heart her in a weird way.
You speak for yourself. There's nothing of her that I heart.
No, we do, because thanks to Jojo Siwa's existence, we got your impression of Jojo Siwa, which is one of my favorite things to ever be recorded.
Welcome to the DRE.
Exactly. Exactly.
Whatever. And then, last but not least, our favorite, Melanie C from the Spice Girls.
It's Sporty Spice. I'm going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, so let's talk about this cast for a minute. Let's first talk about Mel C, which obviously is our favorite.
Yes.
I'm a little bit surprised that she did it, simply because
that she didn't do Strictly.
She doesn't need the money, because the Spice Girls went on tour in 2019 and they sold out all these stadiums in Europe.
They're still raking in that merchandise money.
I think they made like $100 million. So or each one of them made like $35 million.
Sporty's fine.
They make a lot of money from their royalties. And
that Polaroid money is still coming in, I'm sure. Yeah.
No, but what people have to understand is that the Spice Girls wrote their own songs.
So every time you hear Wannabe, you're paying all five of them.
Yeah. The Spice Girls actually wrote their songs, people. Yeah. And she has a solo career, which
she tours
to a lot of people here in the U.S. You may not know this, but actually Melanie C, Sporty Spice, has a pretty.
I think she's on her 6th or 7th solo album now,
or more. Like, she has a huge catalog of solo music that is extremely successful in Europe and the rest of the world. Because
she also does DJ gigs.
And she's huge in Brazil too.
That's true.
Yeah. Because of course all these people are huge all over the world except in the U.S. They're huge even in Canada, but not here. Not here.
Heaven forbid they cross the border.
But anyway, so I was a little bit surprised that she did that, especially since she's England based.
Right.
Because when Mel B,
she was living in LA.
She was living in LA.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit surprising that she did the American one.
Yeah, she didn't do Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah, which for those of you who don't know is
Dancing with the Stars.
Is Dancing with the Stars, and it's the original one.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but we're rooting for her. So
I have told you she was the best dancer out of the 5.
No, she is.
And like, you watch her, and I've told you this, her movements are graceful. And
no, she will do well.
I can't wait to see
she will do well.
She better win, because if Scary got robbed,
and
I will take to the streets.
Melanie B, Scary Spice got robbed, and the judges even said it.
Yeah.
That and every time they do like a compilation of like the best performances ever, they always have Mel B's Paso Doble.
Because it was phenomenal.
That way, it's Free Your Mind.
Because
That's the whip.
it was so damn good.
So anyway,
With that said, listeners, you all have to vote for Sporty.
yes. So okay, JoJo Siwa. It's like
I understand it.
Okay.
I understand
Okay.
it because
Okay. Wait.
she's the young.
But this
there
is
was
where
a-
I'm
there
trying
was
to
a
go with
kid-
this. This is where I'm trying to go with
Okay.
this.
God.
So the first
Same-sex couple.
same-sex couple, that wall is gonna be broken by, or that
Right. JoJo
JoJo
Siwa's going to
Siwa?
be the groundbreaker.
she broke that glass ceiling, like JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa! Ah! Like
Heavy,
I'm
heavy is the head that wears the bow.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of hers. Good for her
You
as
respect-
a person.
you respect
as
her
a,
accomplishments.
As a person.
Right.
I'm sure she's a wonderful person. I don't want to hate on her as a person. I just think that, like,
You don't get the
I've said
appeal.
this. I've said this before here. I think that image
Right.
started making money. They went with it. And I'm sure that now she's probably in her private time. She's like, fuck, this is the image that I got, like, big on. And I have to.
How do I
like,
transition out of this?
I have to, like, keep on with this. Like,
Right. How do
because
I?
what am I going to but what is she going to transition to?
Right. But
because
that's- right.
she's not an actress.
No,
She's not a singer.
not really.
As much as she thinks she sings in the DREM tour. She's not a singer. So it's not like, okay, well, I was a teen pop star and I'm going to
Right.
transition into like more mature music.
Right.
So what,
She doesn't host things.
I mean,
So
she has treadline alopecia from the freaking bow. This is not like, this is true.
I know.
And her bows are so expensive.
Well, that's why she makes the big bucks.
I don't get it. I think it's so whatever, but good for her.
She's having her moment now too, so I totally understand having her on the show.
I get it.
She makes sense.
I just thought that the first out person to break that glass ceiling of a same-sex
couple,
couple,
we're not going to be JoJo Siwa
Yeah.
of all the people.
yeah. And how do you feel about the whole same-sex couple thing? The reason I ask is because dancing is dancing, so dancing doesn't necessarily have to be like
Male female.
a male female. It doesn't have to be male female, but at the same time, just because you're gay doesn't mean that you have to dance with a same-sex partner.
And these were questions that came up previously when Chaz Bono and Lance Bass were both on the season. Specifically, I remember when Lance Bass did it, he said that people were asking him like, "Oh, are you going to dance with a guy?" And he was like, "Why would I dance with a guy?" Like it's just like because I'm gay, I have to dance with a guy. Like it didn't.
That's how I
It didn't
first
make sense for
saw
him.
it.
Now,
That's-
granted, she was given the option.
Right.
They asked her, "Would you like a male partner or a female partner?" And she chose female because basically she was like, "You know what? I could be the first. Why not?
I be the best.
Why not? My biggest thing with
That it was JoJo Siwa.
my biggest God, that's gonna be the clip. My biggest thing with this, and you know what? Call me conservative, call me old-fashioned, call me whatever you want to call me. Dance has a certain structure, right? Historically, and go with me on this. Historically, quote unquote, the man leads, right? In when it comes to certain dances, especially like when you've got like your pasos and your tangos and all that, right? So, what you see with these couples is, when the opposite sex couples, it's like, okay, you are the male and you're doing the tango, we have to judge you on how well you lead the dance. If you're the female, we judge you on, the quote unquote role. So are they just going to be flip-flopping between them as the dances go? Where it's like, well, this week JoJo's going to lead, but maybe next week she's not because she's not as strong. I'm just trying to figure out
No.
the
Well,
logistics
I mean,
of that.
okay. Well, first off, I'm the more liberal one. I'm not. I don't.
No, and hold on. I'm thinking of it from the perspective of like, because if you always have the professional lead, then that's an unfair advantage.
No, but not necessarily because you're seeing it from the gender normative of it. That the female, which is going to be the weaker one. I think how you're seeing it, and a lot of people are seeing it, are from the gender stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
The female is going to be the weaker one, and the man is going to be the stronger one, and is going to lead, right? I don't see. I think it's an opportunity to show that dance doesn't have to be constrained by the gender normative roles of what is female and what is male. I think dance can be very non-binary, very
gender fluid.
You could have two men that present very masculine.
Oh, no, and I've seen those,
and
yeah.
have chemistry and have a flow, just like the same with two women.
Right. I'm just thinking in terms of how from the judging perspective, like they're gonna have to kind of adjust how they view things, and I'm just curious how that's going to affect the judging.
I don't see the
For her.
I don't see the leader, who is the leader and who is passive. I don't see it based on sex or gender whatsoever. I just think my only gripe about it was, and again, we've talked about this many times when we've talked about these issues. I hate when people are placed in a box, and I think
You're gay, you must dance with a woman.
Right. I hate when people are placed in a box and they think that because you are this, you must be this, and this is how it should be. So I was sort of a little bit like, so did they do this because she's a girl and she's
gay,
I think she identifies as pansexual. Whatever. She identifies as gay.
Part of the LGBT spectrum.
So she must, it's expected that she would dance with her.
Right.
That's the part that kind of has annoyed me.
To kind of flip it.
So that's why, like what you said that Lance said,
Yeah, right.
Because it's like, this is dancing. So, because I am gay, I must dance with a man.
Well, to flip it a little bit, Raven Simone this week was on a podcast where they asked her, why didn't you make in Raven's Home, the sequel series to That's So Raven, why didn't you make Raven a lesbian? And she said, because Raven Baxter is Raven Baxter is Raven Baxter. I am not Raven Baxter, and Raven Baxter is not me. Mm-hmm. And so this is a character who, many years ago we had kind of established this is quote unquote who she is. And you can make the argument, people evolve, people discover sexuality late in life, whatever. But she was basically like, I didn't feel the need, essentially, to come in and be like, well, since I'm a lesbian, now she's going to be a lesbian.
And that's not what that show is about.
That's not what the show's about. But by the same token, she has said, but notice, I'm a divorced mom, but I don't have boyfriends. Mm-hmm. Right? So you can read into that whatever you want, right? But it's like, this is not the Raven is a lesbian show.
Right. And again, that's not what that show is about.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, so moving on, Olivia Jade. So Olivia Jade, for those of you who don't know, is the daughter of Lori Loughlin and Massimo.
Yes.
Who were involved in the college admissions scandals. Now, if you listen to 173 episodes of Pero let me tell you, I am biased to Lori Loughlin because I am a fan of Full and Fuller House. We went to a taping of Fuller House. We were on the set. We met the cast.
We sat on the couch.
I am biased.
Right.
Lori Loughlin. I mean, what she did was wrong. I don't approve it. I don't condone it.
Was illegal. Right.
It was illegal. But here's my problem with her.
With Olivia Jade.
Yes. So is she on there because she's Lori Loughlin's daughter?
Well, she wouldn't be there otherwise.
No, but like
no. She at one point was a YouTuber or something like that too. Mm-hmm. So she was like an influencer. Mm-hmm. So
is Dancing with the Stars become a redemption vehicle?
In a weird way, but I don't think this is the first round of
Sean
that.
Spicer.
We had Sean Spicer, Tanya Harding. Right, that's what I'm saying. This is not the first round of, hey, I screwed up. Let me show the world I'm a human being.
I have to say, this is going to sound terrible. Nancy Kerrigan siempre me cayó tan mal. Like, I always was like, Tanya Harding.
Okay, but she didn't deserve a crowbar to the leg.
She didn't. But a lot of people didn't like Nancy Kerrigan.
Well, but the thing with Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding is, if you've seen I, Tonya, it comes down to the whole privilege versus non-privilege, right? That's what it really comes down to.
Do you really think she had nothing to do with it?
Tanya?
Yeah.
I believe her. I think she's one of these people who was just mixed up with the wrong people. Yeah. And while she was off, doing her thing, this, just totally went off the rails. I believe her.
Yeah. Man, Allison...
I believe... You know what? Maybe she made an offhand comment once, I wish somebody would just, break that bitch's foot, or something like that. And these people probably heard it and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think...
Nancy Kerrigan's like, why? It's so funny that, a lot of... Well, it's not funny. But that so many people did not respect respond to that. And then she got a lot of bad press for a time. Do you remember when she was like totally unhappy at Disney World?
Yeah. She's like, this is so cheesy. This is so stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
whatever, like,
it was a hot mic moment.
But that's the thing is also remember that Nancy Kerrigan, because of what happened to her, she was cast in the role of victim.
Right.
And we expect our victims to behave a certain way
Right.
and demonstrate a certain degree of appreciation that we are on their side.
You're right. And Nancy Kerrigan didn't get a movie, but Tanya did.
Exactly. Tanya Harding did. So there you go.
I guess Nancy Kerrigan will be coming on the show.
No.
But Olivia Jade, like, she's cute.
Well, I mean, she looks just like her mother.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks like her mother, and her mother's gorgeous.
Brian Austin Green probably is not going to be good.
He's one of those that could go either way.
The Miz is probably going to be good.
You think so?
Yeah, he's a wrestler. Athletes, like wrestlers and stuff like that, are generally good.
That's true. Because I forgot which one of the Bellas was on it. But
They have
she was
to be
great.
like quick on their feet.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, I went to Raw this past week. Man, those people, you can say wrestling is fake all you want, but let me tell you something. They're athletes.
Raw? Oh my God, yeah.
It was so good.
Wow, that was such a big... Have I ever told you my whole thing with wrestling and Friends?
You mentioned it actually on our interview with Ulysses.
Yes.
Because Dana Brooke was there. Yeah.
I watched Friends, not from the first season. I started watching Friends like in the end of like the second season.
Maybe a little later.
No, because I was fully watching by the third season. Okay. And it's funny because then I started watching Friends again. But then it's funny because there was like a period there that I didn't watch Friends. And I'm like, but why did I stop watching? Because I even watched it up until Ross's wedding with Emily when they were in London.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Up to then. And that was like 98, 99.
Yeah.
And I just stopped watching. I'm like, why is there a gap in my Friends watching? And it's because it was Raw and then it was SmackDown
On Thursdays, yeah.
on Thursdays, and I was so into wrestling at that time. I like freaking lived and breathed wrestling, and times have changed. But I love it. Like
It's so much fun.
it is so much fun. You get so into it. Like I remember one time I had ringside seats and I took a poster that said Jabroni, and I came on TV, and I was telling my parents, "Put it on, I'm on TV," and they're like, "Back it is," so whatever. But where was it at?
At the FTX Arena. The FTX Arena, yeah.
Right. I love it. So you went with one of your nephews?
Yeah, I took my youngest nephew for his birthday. That was his birthday present.
Is he into wrestling?
He's super into wrestling, yeah. And it was his favorite wrestler, AJ Styles, was wrestling, so it was perfect.
Yeah. I don't really follow it anymore.
I know enough because of the boys.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dancing with the Stars and wrestling. What a good time.
It is. Freaking Peloton instructor, Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, actually, but Kobe's pretty fun. Kobe became pretty popular during
I'm
COVID.
not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying it's a Peloton instructor. It's like when they announced it, Jose was like, okay, can they just do like an all advertising edition where we have like, Flo from Progressive, Lily from AT&T.
Have I told you what like the ultimate
Jake from
Dancing
State
with the Stars
Farm
should be?
We've had
should
this
be
conversation.
like the top like
all-star.
yeah, Beyonce,
J-Lo,
Paula Abdul, Madonna, Paula Abdul,
Justin Timberlake,
Britney Spears, just like
John Travolta,
like all these people that have danced and danced and danced and be like, who's the best one?
That would be so good. That's what they should do for their last season. Look, they would have to pony up a lot of money.
Yeah, no.
And
they're not going to do that.
And they're not going to get Madonna, by the way.
Madonna's not going to do Dancing with the
If
Stars.
she's not doing a
She'll
residency.
say something like, "Oh, that's degrading." And
Yeah.
I
don't have to demonstrate my skills to anyone.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
I would see Beyonce doing it first, then
for shits and giggles,
then Madonna.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Y'all, I'm gonna do Dancing with the Stars."
Like Tyra would ask her, and she would do it.
Because I'm friends with Tyra,
Right.
or whatever, because I don't know. I feel Beyonce's more of like a trooper, like
right.
and Madonna would be like, no.
She'd be like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. I can't. No, because you know what? Committing to Dancing with the Stars is a form of a residency.
That's true. As we know, Madonna does not do residencies.
You got to give a backstory to that.
Haven't we said that on the story?
No.
Before?
Some years ago, residencies have become
it's just a thing that pop stars do now.
Yeah, and Celine Dion was like the first A-list top on her game celebrity because a lot of people forget Celine Dion started her residency in 2000.
Yeah, it was like she was still Celine Dion.
She was in her peak, in
the peak of it all.
She was still in the Titanic, like
riding that
kind of-
wave, no pun intended.
right? And she did it, and then Britney did it, and all these like top people have done it, and I don't know who it was. Like, I think you just said one day that it's like, oh, Madonna would never do a residency.
I said that
because that's not something she would ever
I'm
do.
like, Madonna will. Every artist in the world will do a Vegas residency, but Madonna.
Just to go against.
Just to be like, I don't do
residencies.
Right.
So whatever, he said that, and whatever.
So fast forward
to a few years, and last
Madame
year
X tour.
or whatever that Madonna did her Madame X tour. She did smaller theaters, and she did like 30 shows at like I think Radio City Music Hall or some ballroom in New York, and then like here she did like I don't know like a dozen
Fillmore,
at the Fillmore. Like she was doing
multiple dates.
Like multiple
in one
dates,
place.
not like 2 or 3 dates. She was doing like 20 some dates in each place. And somebody was like, "Oh, you're sort of doing a residency." She's like, "I don't do residencies." And it was just really funny because she kind of like ingrained what you had said.
It's
that
like,
it's like,
listen, después de cuántos años yo de seguir Madonna, I know Madonna's not going to do a residency.
yeah.
She's not going to do a residency. I will do a residency before Madonna does.
But let me tell you, there's a residency in Vegas. Habla mucha mierda. Where would we do a residency? No, we would be off
the Coral
strip.
Gables Playhouse.
No, in Vegas.
Oh, in Vegas.
We would do that. Like, is the Frontier still on? Still?
We'd probably be at the Circus.
No, we would do it.
The Stratosphere?
No, we would do it in the steakhouse at Pia Zadora.
Yes.
I'm bringing season 1 in.
Yes, you're bringing it back.
We would do it in the steakhouse that Pia Zadora performs at.
On the nights Pia's off.
On the nights Pia's off.
night Pia's off.
That's when they have the prime rib special.
And when we're there, they will also have lechon.
Right.
On our nights.
Right, and we'll wear our Lechon Life shirts will be available at
the lobby.
At the lobby. Yes. Wow. Okay, we totally need to make
We
this
just
happen.
put together a whole business plan.
And send it to that steakhouse. I'm sure
Chico owns it.
I'm sure we'll be cheaper than Pia.
Well, Chico owns the steakhouse.
Well, no, and she does have a Golden Globe,
right?
whereas we don't.
We don't even have golden earrings.
No. But but it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah. How's everybody's drive?
Oh, I think everybody's drive is much better now that they're accompanying us. We're much more. I think we're more fun than that Cody guy.
Okay, well,
I'm just saying. ABC, send us an email.
see, here's the thing: if we're
Listen,
both on Dancing with the Stars,
Listen, it's a perfect narrative for you and I to be on Dancing with the Stars,
you're gonna be better.
but you're gonna want it more.
Yes, because I'm gonna want to prove myself. So
Right.
it's gonna be like the hair and what is it? The hair,
Tortoise and the hare.
Yes, that you're gonna be like, I'm the dancer, and I'm gonna be like, I'm so not the dancer, but I'm
Right.
still gonna see.
But
I told you
you're gonna be more endearing.
what I would love to like seriously dance. Like I want
Mm-hmm.
one day would like to take ballroom classes to dance. El paso doble.
Okay.
Because I like that it's aggressive and it's like I'm gonna rip your head off.
Yes.
When we get to the samba and the salsa, I forfeit.
How about the jive? I would love to do the jive because I feel like I can't get that foot movement down.
I think I will have an easier time with the jive. I'm not saying I'll have an easy time. Then, especially the samba,
Samba's
because
all hips.
as Carrie-Ann Inaba always says, it's constant flow and
Yes,
rhythm.
it is.
And that's when
yeah.
I'm going to be like, oh no, my hips can't do that. Like I could do the aggressiveness of the paso doble and even the tango. Because
Right.
it's more like, like boom.
Mira. Getting us is even more. It's even economical for them. Okay, because we come built in. We come with a built-in storyline, right? To begin with. We root each other on, but it's friendly competition, so that's always fun for the behind-the-scenes confessionals and shit. And on Latin night, you get Gloria Estefan, and she can sing for both of us.
Yes. Okay. What's gonna be the episode where we're gonna cry about?
Oh, that one that we have to pick the year. I don't even know what the themes are
Like a
anymore
year,
with Tyra.
yeah. That it's always like the episode everybody cries.
Yeah.
I'll probably pick 1987, just so I could dance to "Foolish Beat" by Debbie Gibson. I could do the Viennese waltz.
Okay.
I could never love again the way I loved you.
This is great. We just planned out the whole freaking episode.
Yeah, and I would like to dance a paso doble. To what song I think would be a great paso doble. Nobody's ever thought
Something
about
by the
this.
Weekend.
Nope. The remix of Erotica, the You Thrill Me.
Oh, that would be great for
Paso
Paso
Doble. I've always thought that since I first heard that song. I'm like, this would make a great like Paso Doble.
I wonder what the usage rights are on that.
Why?
Well, because since that's not like a real single.
Yeah, but it came out.
It's a complicated one,
right? But
sure.
it came out on her.
Oh, Sticky and Sweet, no?
It came out on her. On her
Reinvention, Confessions.
No, that's Confessions. But it came out on the album on the concert.
The concert
CD.
recording.
So it's owned
okay.
by Warner Brothers.
Oh,
whatever. But yeah, that would be a great song.
That would be a great one.
Oh, The Weeknd too. Call out my name. Oh my God! Like now, I want to be on Dancing with the Stars, but I want to be okay. I want
Guys,
to be
make
on
it
Dancing
happen.
with the Stars, not on Mira Quien Baile.
No.
Because although we got invited,
Listen,
to Mira Quien Baile,
yeah, exactly. Listen, even if you invite me to like look who's dancing on Calle Ocho,
because
like,
the thing with Mira Quien Baila is that have you seen Mira Quien Baila on
It's-
Univision?
yes, it's the same but not.
It's not because it's not ballroom. Like they have disco night and they'll
Right.
play like John Travolta,
Right,
and you'll go in the white suit, and it's like, while that's fun, that's not ballroom.
Right.
And here we are talking like we're experts in ballroom dancing.
Hey, I took ballroom dance classes.
Well, that is true. But you know what? After watching so many seasons of
I feel a little educated.
I don't know if you remember, and we're talking about Dancing with the Stars again. Do you remember who's just like weirdly enough, who is the person I campaigned the most for on Dancing with the Stars? Don't you remember I would send group texts?
Jodie Sweetin?
Candace Cameron.
Candace Cameron. No. Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't.
It was
for,
Candace Cameron.
Yeah. I was thinking it was for the other girl, the blonde, who came back. She even came back and lost again. From
Sabrina Ryan?
Sabrina Ryan.
Sabrina Ryan should have won twice.
She should have won twice.
Yes. Sabrina Ryan was freaking insane. Like how good she was. She like her very first week, she like got 10s. Like,
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
She did Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me.
Me.
But Candace Cameron, like I remember when she was on it, I would send group texts. I'm like,
You would.
everybody call now. And I would talk with people. I'm like, did you call? Did you call sometimes?
Which we can also do for Sporty Spice. If you all send us your emails, we will send out mass texts. We can do this as well.
I really want to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Listen, we'll figure it out. Maybe I'm telling you, if the Peloton dancer instructor could be on it.
I'll be like, for my memorable year, it's gonna be 1980 because that's the year my family came from Cuba. So as homage to that, we're gonna dance to "Whip It Good" by Devo. Or I'd be something like, my most memorable year was 1984 because that's the year I started preschool. And as such, we're going to dance to Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar. That's a great one.
Great.
That's
Just pick the year Tristan was born.
that's so garden variety.
Yeah,
Like,
but you'll probably have a better choice of song.
not necessarily.
I mean,
Love is a Battlefield is a badass song.
that is a great song.
No, I like 1980. That's the year my parents fled communism. And as such, I'm going to sing to Diva Whipping Good.
That would be great.
And you know we're going to wear that red thing. They
well, you
wear.
have to. If not, that's like the rule. By the way, if you do whip it, you have to wear that top thing.
Too much Dancing with Stars. Some of our listeners are probably like, I don't fucking watch Dancing with Stars.
But they'd watch it if we were on.
Yeah, you better.
They better, right? I hope so. Well, this week we have an interview with a hometown girl. She's from Hialeah. And se fue por el camino viejo. And she is having a fantastic year. She's a singer, songwriter, DJ. She was recently featured in a Modelo beer campaign, which has been a global sensation. She's a former cop who now is a DJ. You know, the transition we all naturally make. It's DJ Citizen Jane, and it was a great chat. She's also debuting her fashion line this week in Fashion Week in New York. So, without further ado, here's the chat with DJ Citizen Jane.
Hey people, DJ here. If there's something that I've made pretty clear over 4 seasons of this show is how much I love music. Creating the perfect playlist is one of my favorite pastimes. And now I have the perfect way to hear them with my Raycon wireless earbuds. You all know since the quarantine I've become obsessed with biking, and Raycons are the best way to listen while I'm pushing myself to get those extra miles. Not only do they come with a bunch of gel tips so you can listen in comfort, but they don't stick out of your ears like some other earbuds do. And with a 32-hour battery life, I can bike for miles with my Raycons without worrying about my soundtrack going silent, because that kind of sucks. Did we also mention Raycons are half the price of other premium audio brands without sacrificing quality? Well then, how about you make your own soundtrack with Raycon? Right now, Pero Let Me Tell You listeners can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/pero. Plus, they come with a 45-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. So visit buyraycon.com/pero to save 15% off your Raycons. buyraycon.com/pero.
Hola, mi gente, it's Ish here. So today we are with Justin Galindo, who's one of the general managers at UFIT, and we're going to talk about the UCoach personal training program here at UFIT. I mean, okay, a trainer. Like, let's first things first. How easy is it to get one-on-one personal training at UFIT? Like, do I got to jump through hurdles, or is it crazy? Like, what does it take?
Just a single approach to us. Tell us you're interested, and we'll present you the prices, and we'll go from there. Whatever you want, whatever you can afford, however much you want to pay, however much you want to come in a week, we'll go ahead and find the best program for you that fits your budget and that fits your schedule, and we go from there.
Okay, so you mentioned pricing. Like, what's the starting point, shall we say? Because I know people think personal training and they're like, eso va a costar un ojo de la cara. Like, I can't afford it. You know, I need to eat that week. I mean, what are we talking?
So we have one introduction package. It's called the BOGO, buy one get one free. It's one session for $35, and you get an extra session for free. That's
nice.
To try it out, see if you like it. If you don't want, even you don't know how it is, you want to try it out.
Okay.
If you don't want a commitment yet. So once you try it out and you decide you do want it, most people need it because you're not going to get the results you want in 2 sessions. It takes months to get.
What? You don't get them in 2 sessions? Oh,
not going to happen.
It's too much work.
But the beginning price point, we have a twice a month, $75 per session. That's the lowest we offer, and then it's a once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, depending on how many times you want to come in. So the way we present it is based off of how many times you want to come in to begin with. Because if you can only come in twice a week, I have no business offering you to 4 times a week just to take your money, like, you know. So.
Well, I'm glad you say that, just to take your money, because UFIT is not about just taking people's money.
Exactly.
I could definitely appreciate that. Now, you mentioned, coming in more than obviously twice a week, or depending on your schedule. So it's really a program that does get tailored to the individual, right? Like, you're not going to have some old person here with arthritis, bench pressing 800 pounds, right?
Exactly. On top of the program takes the workouts are all tailored to you. We customize and program every single workout that you're doing in here. So it takes all the guessing game out of your workout. So what you're getting is a full workout program for the entire month. And then next month, after a month of working out, you're going to get guaranteed results if you're sticking to it. After a month, we'll do your measurements again, strength tests again, body fat composition, all that every single month, and provide you the new program, preferably a little bit more hard, a little bit more advanced, a little bit more next level.
Okay.
So you keep getting results, keep growing, and keep learning. As every month, our trainers are never going to stop learning. So we can never teach you everything we have to offer, because we're going to keep learning, and you're going to keep on learning too. So that's how we keep our clients going, keep them learning, keep them growing.
That's awesome, because I think a lot of people think, well, you got a trainer, it's kind of a one size fits all, set it and forget it, right? But no, it's definitely keeps modifying based on your goals and your results, right? Is what you're saying.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And different things that people need. The main 4 factors that everybody needs that they come in here that they don't have is motivation. They're not motivated. They don't have accountability. They lack discipline. So that's where we come in. We hold them accountable. Make sure they're coming in.
But you don't yell at people, right?
No, of course not. If that's what they want.
Okay.
But not really. No. It's more, it's very personal, and it's one-on-one, and we're taking our time. We're not yelling. We're explaining why they need to do it, and and showing them.
It's educational.
Exactly. So we're explaining the benefits of every single thing we're doing, and we're showing them how to do it, why they're doing it, what they're getting from it. That's
awesome. That's awesome. Now, let's talk a little bit about the trainers for a moment. Now, I'm assuming the trainers do have a certification. Right?
Yeah, they're all certified. We have a list of approved certifications that they have to qualify through. They cannot start without a certification and a CPR certification. And then once they get in, if with the certification that they have, we want them to keep learning. Like I said, they're going to keep learning, keep growing. So we have partnerships with a bunch of different organizations that we offer specialization certifications. So they get discounts on the certifications and to keep learning more, to keep growing, taking themselves to the next level, leveling up, and just becoming more experienced and learn more so they can keep teaching their clients more.
Well, I mean, okay, I don't know what else I can ask from a personal, training session. I mean, so there you have it, guys. I mean, it's an affordable one-on-one training, unique to your fitness goals, certified trainers. I mean, honestly, I don't know what more you could want. So go ahead, guys. I mean, listen, this is audio, so you can definitely, as you're listening to me, go visit ufit.com to find the club nearest you, and then just stop by any front desk and ask for a fitness assessment, and they'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, we'll schedule you whenever you're available to come in, or we can do it on the spot if you have time right there, and we have people available. Usually this trainer is available from 5 a.m. to about 9 o'clock at night. That's the schedules, different trainers, and go from there.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. Visit ufit.com, find that club, but just keep in mind, amenities do vary by location. All right, mi gente, and we're back. And as we said, we are here with, I mean, she's a global phenomenon at this point, DJ Citizen Jane. But let us never forget that she is at heart a Miami, specifically Hialeah girl. Okay, we love Hialeah. We may tease Hialeah a little bit, but we love Hialeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Como Latina, como Cubana de Hialeah. I love the idea of your show, and I'm so happy, and it's gonna be fun. I can just see it already.
Oh no, for sure. And I just have to say, just listeners, obviously before we start an interview, we did a little pre-chat, and she showed me that she's eating pastelitos, so she came prepared. She came prepared and croquetas. She came prepared for this interview. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's ridiculously busy for you lately, and I think let's almost like start at the top, right? That's because you are a spokesperson now for Modelo Beer, right? I mean, it's been that started this year, didn't it?
Yeah, it started this year. The commercial started airing in February, and it's airing in Spanish and in English, so para los latinos también, and it's airing internationally and nationally, so I'm super excited about this, and it's been a blow up. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to have so much attention like it is, and I'm just getting, mail from everyone, and people saying that they're inspired by my story, which is what my whole point of even DJing and doing what I do. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm getting booked left and right just due to the commercial itself. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, no, I mean, I gotta say, it's that commercial which kind of brought you on my radar at first. Not gonna lie, because I was like, oh, she's from Miami. Wait, what? She was a police officer, and so we gotta delve into that, because that is not a path most people take. Like, I'm gonna go and be a police officer, and now I'm a superstar DJ. Like, how? What? I mean, I'm more confused than usual, which is saying a lot.
It's funny because some people are actually writing to me. They're like, "Oh, are you a narc? Are you undercover in these EDM festivals?" I mean, I've gotten the most bizarre things said to me.
That's a lot of effort if you are a undercover police officer who has managed to become an international DJ. Like, that is some James Bond shit. Like,
yeah, no, that's like a movie, una película. No, but I'm like, no, that's not what it is. My career as a police officer happened a long time ago. It was something on my bucket list as a kid. The kid that wants to be the firefighter, the kid that wants to be the police officer, and I kind of did it. It's like been there, done that, got a souvenir. Wasn't something that I really, music's always been my passion.
Right.
And I still have a lot of friends that are police officers, and I totally support them. And I know there's people that say there's bad ones and good ones, and there is, like in everything.
Claro.
But I mean, I did it. It was a time that I chose music, so I did resign the police department because I wanted to take on a music career, and I'm doing music full time, and I love it.
Yeah, I know you obviously it wasn't like you were just a police officer and you're like, and now I'm going to be a DJ. Like, music was a part of your life, I'm assuming.
It was always a part of my life. Even when I was in the police department, I still, I'm a songwriter. I had my band. I DJ'd on the side, and it just became too much, like, to do both. And it was kind of like a conflict of interest because, it wasn't very, it wasn't a little frowned upon by the sergeants and stuff. So I had to make a choice, and I chose music over everything. So
Yeah, I'm thinking most things related to music probably happen starting at midnight, and then you still got to wake up
Yeah.
at 5 a.m. to go to work. It's
exactly. No, I
not.
was taking a toll, so yeah, no,
Yeah, it's not good for your sanity. Let's just put it that way.
no.
Yes.
So, but music, I chose a happier path, and being a police officer was a little morbid. I mean, you get to see really ugly things out there, and I'm a happy person, so I'm very peaceful. So at least the people that are with me by my side, my family, and my significant other don't have to be worried that I'm out on the street,
That's true.
possibly, putting my life on the line. So
That's true, but I think that there's and I'm a glass half full kind of guy, so there's something to be said for you saw so much bad things on the street as an officer that I think now maybe you appreciate the good even more, right?
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I totally appreciate everything, and I always see, like you said, the glass half full, and I'm a positive person. I love giving positive vibes to everyone, and I always look for things happen for a reason, for something better to come along. So that's what I try to give off. So it has given me that aspect of life.
Well, I'm definitely getting that vibe from you via the virtual interview. That definitely there's like good vibes happening. It's like, let's have a good time. Let's enjoy life. And that definitely speaks to we've spoken to a couple musicians at this point, and that seems to be a very common perspective. Were you always like this? Like, was music something you even started like back in high school, or when you were a little girl, or is this something that evolved as you evolved?
I mean, I was always like a little nerd. I mean, the athlete, but a nerd at the same time in school. And, I did get bullied because I was always like,
Really?
I always had a different look. It was always like, I would change stuff around because my mom's a designer. And I would always like do stuff and like change things and show up to my Catholic school with like some look with my uniform and get in trouble and get made fun of by kids because they didn't understand. I've always been very creative and into the arts. So, and a little tomboy as a little girl as well. So it's just, I went through the whole bullying stage, but then when I got to high school, it's like things changed, and
Right.
and I got a little more popular, and I was more, even though I went to Pace High School.
Okay, good. I was gonna ask you what school you went to. Of course, I have to ask.
A bougie high school that a girl from Hialeah went there, and so at first I did get made fun of because people were like, "Oh, you're from Hialeah," and I was like, "No, I'm actually from Coral Gables." So people from Hialeah want to say that they're from Miami Lakes or Coral Gables or Miami Springs or anything from Hialeah, but at the end, like you get stupid because you're a kid and you don't want to be bullied, but at the end, like as I grew up, I was like, you know what? I love Hialeah. I love the city that I grew up in, and even though I left the city when I was like 22 years old, and I did move to Coral Gables eventually, but
Also,
I
we're
really love
vecinos.
my city.
We're neighbors
I
now.
love my city.
You and I. I'm in the Gables.
Awesome! That's where we all end up. No, I'm just kidding. On the Gables. So my parents still live in Hialeah, and I come and visit them, and it is, and I have my ties with Hialeah still. So
That's awesome. Well, I mean, speaking of Hialeah, you're a proud Hialeah girl, and I think a little bit of that is to kind of flip the wordplay there. You're one of the co-founders of Hialeah Pride, and I will say that in the scope of Miami, it is the more recent of the South Florida LGBTQ celebrations, right? I think it's only maybe 3 years old.
yes, this year would make our 4th year. We haven't been able to do it last year because of COVID, and this year it's still up in the air. I'm not thinking that we're going to do it just out of responsibility because it is a big event. It brings a lot of people. Our last year,
I already got excited. I went to your website earlier,
I know,
and it says
but I
a
wanna
date
do
in
it right.
October.
I want to do it right. It's in Reform with Hialeah, which we chose that, my partner and I, to do that because it's, it's such an iconic place. It's where I did my quinceañera pictures.
Oh, I need to see those now. I need to see those Hipódromo quinceañera pictures, and that's what we're going to promote.
I took a recent one now in the same position pose that I did the other one, so it was hilarious. But it was a successful pride. I mean, we brought a lot of people together. I just wanted to bring some visibility to Hialeah because there is a lot of LGBTQ plus people in Hialeah, and a lot of them live, believe it or not, closeted because the city is the 4th most conservative city in the U.S.
Really?
With the other, yes. Even though we're 15 minutes away from Miami, the other 3 are in Texas, which is ridiculous. So I kind of wanted to, break that barrier and and like those things that happened, I just didn't, I was like, why does this have to continue? Because I originally left the city of Hialeah because of that.
Right.
Because I came out of the closet, and everywhere where I would go, people would give you the looks and the thing, and I was like, I have to get out of here. I mean, I can't be in this place, this closed-minded place. But, I eventually came back and wanted to make a difference in the city, and we did, and it was a huge success. The city of Hialeah Police Department now has a liaison for LGBT, and they're like, training them with sensitivity. We also had the first gay flag flown in Hialeah at Hialeah Hospital. So it's, we've made some strides, and I'm hoping that, once this COVID thing is over, we can do a humongous festival next year and make it bigger than what has been.
No, as it should be. Although I have to say, me ha dejado la boca abierta about the whole, like, fourth most conservative city in the U.S., considering all of the, but I don't even know the word, like, all of the backwater things that happen there, all the malañas and all that. Like, really? You're going to be conservative, guys? You probably are leading the in Medicare fraud. I'm going to say conservative, no hold on.
Oh, my God. More than Medicare. Trust me. It's insane.
No, and you know that of which you speak, being from Hialeah. I can imagine you have stories for days.
Oh, my God, yes. I mean, I grew up in the city. I mean, I've seen the different corruption that has happened here, and it's such a beautiful city. It's time for changes, and in every which way. I mean, the city could be so much more than what it is.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. So, back to this year, because I feel like this year, whether it be due to Modelo or just due to, like, the payoff of hard work, right? Because everybody always says, like, oh, overnight success. And what you don't see is the 73 years behind the overnight success, right? Until you get there. But, first of all, I'm so happy for you for your success. Not only because we love when, local people make good like this, but also the fact that this success came this year and not last year when you couldn't capitalize on it. So I'm very happy for you, because I think that's, it would have really sucked if it had been 2020 and you're like, great campaign, I'm a great spokesperson, and we're stuck at home, where nobody can really get out and feel the vibes of your music. And so I actually have been listening to your song Drunken Kisses, which you released this year. I gotta say, it makes me want whiskey real bad every time I hear it. For those who haven't heard it, listen to it. The way, is that you singing on the track?
Yes.
The way that you say the word whiskey, for me, you say it the way that I feel when I drink it, if that makes any sense.
I love it.
If that makes
I'm not
any
gonna
sense.
forget that now.
Because I was like, I get it. I get what she means when she's saying that word, and you say it a couple times, and I'm loving it. But, you've also got a Latin EP coming out this year, right? So it's like kind of, again, embracing who you are. Is this something that you have been wanting to do for a while, or is this, just a natural evolution of Jane?
Well, I actually had a Latin rock band back in the day, and we were together for like 9 years. We broke up. I mean, there's still, one of my music videos is still out there somewhere, wandering around in YouTube. It's called Amor Expresión y Tú. But I did want to go back to my Latin roots. I love the Spanish language. Me encanta hablar español, escribir en español.
Claro, si eres de Hialeah, come on.
Exactly. So I wrote a song. It's called Campo de Guerra. And I wrote it after my breakup, and it was like, this whole, how two people like love each other for so many years and know each other, and then all of a sudden this becomes this war between you once it's over. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that, because it happens the majority of the time. And then you do become friends eventually, but you go through that war stage that I wouldn't say hate each other, but it's kind of like that tension. So it's about that, and about having so much love with a person, and that you still have that tension because there is still love there, but you don't know what to do with it. So that's what it's about, and it's super amazing. So that's gonna be the first single, and then there's a few more songs coming after that in Spanish. So I'm super excited about that project, and I've been working in the studio on it, so can't wait to let it out.
When can we expect it, more or less? I won't hold you to it, but I want to know when to get excited, more or less.
I would probably say I might have it by December, the single, to launch out.
Okay, so
there's other stuff before that, so I'm kind of like pacing myself.
So what I'm hearing is that this is a Nochebuena record, is what I'm going to be playing it.
It could be either a New Year blast or a celebration, something like that.
Okay, so it's definitely a way to cap the year off.
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, no, I had totally forgotten that you were in a you know, a rock band, and you also had you were on a Telemundo program. Is that correct?
Yes, I will. Wow, you think you're real?
I try. I do try.
That's good. Not many people capture that one. Yes. I was on Telemundo, and the name of the show was Letra y Música, and it was 10 artists that they put us together, like in a house, and we had to songwrite from scratch and do songs for novelas and do songs for albums and for things, and you know, like it was kind of like a competition kind of thing, and I was one of the top 5 finalists on it. But and then we did another spin-off of it called La Parranda Musical, which was O Parranda Navideña, which was launched during Christmas time on Telemundo as well. But those were good times. Those were, I mean, like I said, there's still some stuff out there you can find on YouTube about it, and if you put Letra y Música, so it was a good time.
That's awesome. It sounds like a musical version of Big Brother, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like kind of like a reality TV show, but it was all based on music and not just, you know, singing other people's songs, but actually songwriting our own music and coming up with the music and the lyrics and the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like I always say, there's a difference between quote-unquote reality shows and shows that feature people who have a talent. You know,
Correct.
it's like, to continue my metaphor, right? Like Big Brother is just a bunch of people looking for attention, but you know, something like this is about people who really have a talent and are trying to gain that exposure to further their careers, which I respect.
Right.
You know, I think there's a big difference.
Yeah, everybody does whatever they got to do, you know, just like the OnlyFans. Now, that if you have a foot fetish, I mean, just go in there and just show your toes, and people will pay. I mean, it's a little bit of everything everywhere. But
Listen,
game chances to make it. Your 1 minute of fame.
I'm still trying to find out what venue of fetish I am for my OnlyFans. Just, you know, I don't think anybody wants to pay to see this, but I'm keeping tabs on it just in case. So
Oh my God.
But you also mentioned that that your mother was a clothing designer, or is a clothing designer. I'm assuming she's still with us.
Yes. Yes.
And you are following in her footsteps, aren't you? With a fashion line coming out.
Yeah, my mom was a clothing designer. I mean, she started in Cuba and Havana, and then when she moved here, she continued. She would do clothing for novelas and celebrities and stuff like that before. And she always wanted me to do that. Since I was a little girl, the first thing I got handed was like a Vogue magazine, and so that's how I got into all this fashion. And I love fashion. I love like creating my own stuff, but I never wanted to get into the sewing part of things because it wasn't like something that I liked.
Okay.
But I love sketching. I love design.
The artistic side of it.
I was just the artistic and creative side of it, yes. And I just recently was called to be part of Fashion Week. So I'm launching my own clothing fashion line during Fashion Week at Sony Hall in New York City.
Damn, girl.
And aside from the whole runway, the whole thing that I'm launching myself, I'm closing out the event with a DJ set, which has never been done in New York Fashion Week, where they actually bring a DJ to actually DJ the actual Fashion Week. They just play the music, so I'm super excited about that. I'm like over the moon about that. I'm trying to contain myself right now, but I'm like a little kid because it is a tribute to my mom. My mom is still here. She has Alzheimer's though, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it is like something that, I wanted to do while she's still here, and it is a personal thing and a personal excitement for me to do that.
Well, let me tell you something. Don't bottle it up. Don't try to be humble about it. Like, embrace it. Yell it from every rooftop you can. Like, oh yeah, you've accomplished a lot, and I'm sure you still have more on your list. Like, this is probably even only the third thing maybe in your you want to accomplish.
Yeah, I want to write a book. I want to do a painting. I don't know.
Do it all.
I still have far to go.
Oh yeah, do it all, and like I said, don't be humble about it. Like, screw it. You know what? You've accomplished it, and it should be celebrated. Damn it! And if you don't, then we will celebrate you.
Person. I mean, those that know me know that I'm a super humble person. I mean, I just, whatever I do it out of my heart and out of love, and it's never like as a oh, look what I did, and I don't like to like brag about it. I mean, I post my stuff so people can be in the know of what I'm doing because they like to see it, but I'm not one of those people. I just, I do it more like for me and to fulfill myself and to make myself happy and also to inspire others. I love to inspire, even if it's a few little girls out there that need that inspiration, that a woman can make it out there. So that's my whole goal on this.
Well, I will say I think you're doing that. I think you're also probably inspiring a couple, little boys out there as well. Just again, I said this before and I'll say it again. Seeing people like yourself, who come from essentially the same background that we do, achieve what they set out to do in life. There's a sense of pride in it for us to see you achieve that, because you are representing, us. Whether you know that or not, I'm telling you, you are representing all of us back here in South Florida. And, there's good and there's bad, like you said, but it's great to see someone like you who's saying, okay, I have a platform, I'm visible. Right now I'm working with Modelo, which means I have a bigger platform than I probably would have had before. And here's everything that I'm going to make sure that I stress and, and put out into the world in terms of good vibes. So I'm just going to say thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. They've asked me to even be a speaker, motivational speaker, keynote speaker, in different things ever since the commercial. I was doing it before because I'm part of State School South Florida, which is, help the kids, anti-bullying in the schools and stuff like that. And I was doing that with them, but now I'm even, I'm a speaker, and kind of being a role model to people, even though I'm a DJ, even though, I'm in this kind of like they call it a wild world, I'm not. I'm actually a very grounded person that, it's very clean and very healthy, and I just love music, and it's a platform to go and spread out to the masses and to the people out there, to make yourself a little bit happier. That life is not just especially the times that we're going through now with COVID and all this morbid stuff and people getting scared and on TV and everything they try to scare us with, but it's real. But we also have to think about life, and life is passing us by, so let's try to be safe and wear a mask and do whatever we have to do, but don't stop enjoying your life. Amen. Because of what's going on around you.
Amen. We all essentially lost a year already, right? And we're not getting that year back, so don't lose more time.
And it's bad. It's when you think about it.
Yeah, no, but that's great advice. It's because ain't nobody gonna give it back to you. There's no refund.
You don't know how long you're gonna be here, so you gotta grab life, but really strong, both hands, and just enjoy it. Enjoy every minute.
Give it a damn shake every time you can.
Yes.
So, before we go, I have to ask you a question. Now, your name is not Jane. It's not even Juana. How did you come up with the name DJ Citizen Jane?
It's funny because my name now is legally Citizen Jane.
Oh, okay.
It has
my bad.
It's been Citizen Jane now for the last 4 or 5 years. I had to legally change it because of social media. When I started to get more noticeable and stuff like that, for some reason Facebook wanted to change my name back to my legal name, and they were like, you can't have this unless you send us a driver's license, and they started with all that, so I did have to go to the courthouse, and I had to rush and get it done, because they gave me 48 hours before they would put my real name out there. And I was like, no. So I did have to get that done. My real name is somewhat out there now, which I'm not happy about, because it was always this mystery. But
we won't say what it is. We won't say what it is.
But that name came up. Actually, it was in 5th or 4th grade. One of my friends came up with that name, because I used to be like I said, a tomboy, and we would bring our Cabbage Patches to school, and the boys would take them away. So I was always like, I'm the hero. I'm gonna get the cat. So they call me you're like a superhero name. So they call me Citizen Jane, and it stayed throughout the years. So I haven't even spoken to this friend of mine or seen her. I don't even know where she's at anymore. But thank you, because it's still my name, and now it's a little bit kind of everywhere. So, but and that's what people know me by, or they call me CJ, my close friends, or whatever. So that's what it's become.
That's insane. I love that. And you know what? It fits, because like any good superhero, you are achieving a lot all around the world. So definitely a good name that kind of stuck.
Yes. It's funny because she did call me a superhero, and I was like, well, she was kind of that's always what I wanted to be. I would always be like, I'm a superhero,
Who doesn't?
Trying to save everyone, but I'm still trying to save everyone, but through music now. So I think music is a big healer, and it's my biggest therapist. So whenever I have to, I just jump in the car, open the windows, the sunroof, put the music on, and I just let myself go. I think it's just a great, you get a great feeling when you're listening to something that you like and kind of relates to you.
Absolutely. And the next time that I'm in Coral Gables, I hear loud music coming from a car, I'm going to look and see if it's you.
Or my house. You might be my neighbor. You know?
That's true. Can you imagine if we like live like 3 blocks away from each other, don't even know it? That would be the most Miami of all Miami things.
How funny.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Jane. I mean, again, we joked a little bit like because you were so busy that it took a while to coordinate this, but I love the fact that you're busy because it means that you're living out your dream. And you know what? I wish nothing but continued success for you and to keep bringing that, you know, that beautiful vibe that Miami gives out to the world.
Thank you, and I'm so excited and so honored that you invited me to be part of your show. I was super happy when I found out, and I'm glad we made it happen because I love to be part of something with the Latin culture, and it is what I love. Me encanta ser Latina, me encanta ser Cubana, and now with everything that's happening in Cuba, I mean, hopefully, we can get through this. But
we're
it's
feeling
a very sad story, but we are feeling it, and I'm very passionate about it, and hopefully we'll overcome this soon.
Absolutely. Un abrazo, and thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you to everyone. Have a beautiful day.
And we're back.
She was fantastic. Like, she was just a total joy to talk to. Like, and again,
Another fun interview that I miss.
well, I'm just keeping all the fun ones for myself.
Yeah.
I'm a little selfish.
I have like, I don't know, about 4,000 things on my plate.
Only? I thought it was 5.
I don't
Have
know.
you pushed a couple off the plate?
I don't know. Law, politics, children,
Podcasts,
chicken wings.
Old Navy.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh. Anyway.
We should
but
get
yeah, that
Morgan
was a fun
Fairchild.
one. So, are you thirsty?
Well, I'm always a little thirsty. How about you?
So, I am. So, I'm going to give this week, I'm going to give both a flat soda
And a bubbly one?
and a bubbly soda. This is a first in Pero let me tell you.
Okay. The double soda.
Yes, because I really was excited about this, but now I'm not. But then there's a part of me that is. So this week
You ran the gamut.
came out the trailer for the 4th installment of The Matrix.
I haven't seen it yet.
So The Matrix is one of my favorite movies. If not, for years it was my favorite movie. I'm kind of like Rachel, that she says that her favorite movie is Dangerous Liaisons, but really it's Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, but The Matrix is definitely like in my top 5
it's
movies.
up there with you.
Yeah, it is. Like I have this like poster signed by all 3 of
for
them.
God's sakes, it was your screen name on AOL.
It still is.
Well, but who used to say well?
Yeah, neo1578@AOL.com. Anyway, and for a few years I kind of thought I was Neo Anderson. Remember my webpage that was all Matrix based?
I had forgotten about that.
worldofdarian.com. You could say I was sort of obsessed with The Matrix.
That's an easy way of putting it. Yeah.
So I have opinions about the sequel and about the 3rd installment of The Matrix, but whatever. So I always get very weary when movies are resurrected because it's like, are they doing this for money? And I thought that The Matrix
And it's not even a reboot.
It ended in a way that I wasn't crazy about it, but I'm like, okay, there's closure. And now the trailer came out this week. I don't know what to think. Like, Keanu Reeves looks like John Wick. And, like, there were moments that I thought, is this John Wick's or is this the Matrix? Neo Anderson. And he had such a... I don't want to use the word iconic, but there was such a specific look to Neo Anderson.
No, iconic is the right word.
Right?
Yeah.
As a character. And then Trinity is back, which... I have mixed feelings about, because while I love the character of Trinity, in fact, it was my favorite character in the movie, and I freaking love Carrie-Anne Moss. I think Carrie-Anne Moss is one of the most underrated actresses there are.
I agree with you 1,000%.
Right? I sort of like the way her character ended in the trilogy, so it's like she died, but it was like a meaningful
Right, it was an impactful death.
It meant something.
Yeah.
So it's like, how are we doing this? So I just have I don't know what to think. I don't know if it's a flat soda or a bubbly soda. Like, I just don't know.
It's just a soda.
And when you see the trailer, I really am turned off by the font.
It's not Matrix font?
They use Matrix font, when they show the name of the movie. But for the other ones, they use Times New Roman, but like a fluorescent matrix green, and it just does not look good. It looks cheap. It looks like something you would do at home. I'm just saying. So there you go, Matrix.
All right, so the Matrix. I love how you're like, I don't know if it's flat or bubbly. So
I don't know.
I'm just gonna split it down the middle. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I'll take a look at it now when we're done. So my last soda, I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. It actually goes to the rideshare company Lyft. As we spoke last week about the Texas anti-abortion bill, whatever, however you want to phrase it, Lyft has basically come out taking a stance, and Lyft's official statement from its co-founders and general counsel is, this law is incompatible with people's basic rights to privacy, our community guidelines, the spirit of rideshare, and our values as a company. We are taking action on two fronts. Number one, Lyft has created a driver legal defense fund to cover 100% of legal fees for drivers sued under SB 8 while driving on our platform. Riders and drivers, nothing about how you drive, ride, or interact with each other should change. And two, Texas SB 8 is an attack on women's right to choose. Lyft is donating $1 million to Planned Parenthood to ensure that transportation is never a barrier to healthcare access. So, many times, again, these big corporations and companies, they're money hungry, they're the worst, they're the devil, but every once in a while they take a stand, and this is a very controversial issue, and they were not afraid to, plant their flag in the sand, as it were, on where they stood. So I commend Lyft for that.
Wow, $1 million.
Yeah.
Wow, good for them. Well, good for the
Good,
Planned
right,
Parenthood,
for taking the
Which,
stand.
by the way, Planned Parenthood, people are always like, oh, you're using federal money for abortions.
That's not all they do.
Not all they do. I think that abortions are like less than 4% of what they do. What they actually do is provide women's health care in low-income neighborhoods and in certain areas that it's really needed. And when I mean women's health care, I mean pap smears,
breast exams,
mammograms, things like that. So, people are very quick to be like, Planned Parenthood does abortions. And it's like, again, you don't really know the specifics of
the breadth of what they offer.
Anyway, well, that was an interesting show. We started on a somber note. We tried to end it a little lightly, but, again, it's our hearts and our minds go out to not hearts and minds. Our hearts go out to hearts and mind. Why do I say hearts and minds?
Because our thoughts,
our heart and our thoughts go out. To everybody affected by 9/11. This is a very somber day for all of us. Really, obviously, if you lost a loved one on that day, so it has a different meaning, but it's really a somber moment for all of us. So I'm glad we were able to take a moment to acknowledge that. And we hope everybody has a great weekend. Remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito.
Yes.
We hope you listen, laughed, and learned, and have a great weekend.
Yep, and don't forget, guys, Wednesday, September 15th, we'll be at Beat Culture Brewery with Bim Pam Pollo for another pop-up.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lamlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.